Hello, honey.
Ah, that was nice. I think we've been having a real good evening, all things considered. We've sat around, got to know each other, and had fun and games. Curl up on the floor, for example.
The tiles.
The tiles! Snap the dragon!
Peel the label.
Peel the... What?
Label. Peel the label.
I peel labels.
We all peel labels, sweetie. And when you get through the skin, all 3 layers, through the muscle, slosh aside the organs, then which is still sloshable, and get down to bone, you know what you do then?
No.
When you get down to bone, you haven't got all the way yet. There's something inside the bone. The marrow. And that's what you gotta get at.
I see.
The marrow. But bones are pretty resilient, especially in the young. Now, take our son.
Who?
Our son. Martha's in my little joy.
Do you mind if I,
No, you go right ahead.
George,
Yes, Martha?
just what are you doing?
White love, I was talking about our son.
Don't.
Isn't Martha something? Here we are on the eve of our boy's homecoming, on the eve of his 21st birthday, on the eve of his majority, and Martha says, don't talk about him.
Just don't.
But I want to, Martha. It's very important we talk about him. Now, Bunny and whatever he is, here don't know much about Junior, and I think they should.
Just don't.
Hey, you want to play bringing up baby, don't you?
are you snapping at me?
That's right, you want to hear about our bouncy boy.
Yeah, sure.
And you, my dear, you want to hear about him too, don't you?
Who?
Martha's and my son.
Oh, you have a child?
Oh, indeed, do we ever. Do you want to talk about him, Martha? Or should I? What do you think?
Don't, George.
Alrighty, well now, let's see. He's a nice kid, really, in spite of his home life. I mean, most kids would grow up neurotic. What with Martha here carrying on the way she does, sleeping till 4 in the afternoon, climbing all over the poor guy, trying to break the bathroom door down to wash him in the tub when he's 16, dragging strangers into the house at all hours.
Okay, stop.
Martha!
That's enough.
Well, do you want to take over?
Why would anybody want to watch somebody who's 16?
Oh, for Christ's sake, honey.
But why?
Because it's her baby poo.
All right. Our son. You want our son? You'll have it.
You want a drink, Martha?
Yes.
I don't know why Martha's so avoidant about talking about our son. I mean, she birthed him. He's our son. It's something people talk about. We're with people that don't know us that well. It seems like a good topic for conversation. So I just wanted to keep the conversation going. Lulls can be very dangerous when you're with strangers. They might think it was really awkward. They might not want to hang out with us again. I didn't want to risk that.
We don't have to hear about it if you don't want to.
Who says so? You in a position to set the rules around here?
No.
Good boy. You'll go far. Martha, your recitation, please.
What, George?
Our son.
All right. Our son. Our son was born in a September night, a night not unlike tonight, though tomorrow, and 21 years ago.
You see, I told you.
It was an easy birth.
Oh, Martha, no. You labored, you labored.
It was an easy birth once it had been accepted, relaxed into.
Ah, yes. Better.
It was an easy birth once it had been accepted, and I was young.
And I was younger.
And I was young, and he was a healthy child, a red, bawling child with soft baby skin.
Martha thinks she saw him at delivery.
And a full head of black, fine hair, which, later became as blonde as the sun, our son.
He was a healthy child.
And I had wanted a child. Oh, I had wanted a child.
A son? A daughter?
A child. And I had my child.
Our child.
Our child, and we raised him. Yes, we did. We raised him.
With teddy bears and an antique bassinet from Austria, and no help.
With teddy bears and transparent floating goldfish and a pale blue bed with cane at the headboard when he was older. You know, cane which he wore through finally with his little hands in his sleep.
Nightmares?
Sleep. He was a restless child.
Oh, Lord.
Asleep in a croup tent, a pale green croup tent, and the shining kettle hissing in the one light of the room that time he was sick. Those 4 days, and animal crackers, and the bow and arrow he kept under his bed.
The arrows with rubber cups at their tip?
At their tip, which he kept under his bed.
Why? Why, Martha?
For fear. He was afraid of...
For fear. Just that. For fear.
And sandwiches on Sunday night, and Saturdays, the banana boat, the whole peeled bananas scooped out on top with green grapes along for a crew, and a double line of green grapes, and along the side, stuck to the boat with toothpicks, orange slices, shields.
And for the oar?
A carrot.
Or a swizzle stick, whichever was easier.
No, it was a carrot, and his eyes were green with, if you peered into them so deep, bronze parentheses around the irises, such green eyes.
Blue, green, brown.
And he loved the sun. He was tanned before and after everyone, and in the sun his hair became fleece.
Fleece.
Beautiful, beautiful boy.
Absolve, Domine, animas omnium fidelium de factorum ab omnio vinculo delectorium.
And school and summer camp and sledding and swimming.
Et gratia tua esterente metrantur eviare
And
judicum
how
otionis.
he broke his arm. How funny it was. Oh, no, it hurt him. But, oh, God, it was funny. In a field, his very first cow, the first he'd ever seen. And he went into the field to the cow, where the cow was grazing, head down, busy, and he mooed at it. He mooed at it. And the beast, surprised, swung its head up, and it mooed at him, all 3 years of him, and he ran, startled and stumbled, fell, and broke his poor arm. Poor lamb.
Et lucis aeterne beatitudo perfui.
George cried. George, helpless George cried. I carried the poor lamb, George snuffling beside me. I carried the child, having fashioned a sling, and across the great fields.
In paradisium deducant and adegli.
As he grew, so wise, he walked evenly between us, a hand out to each of us so that we could offer by way of support, affection, teaching, even love, and these hands still to hold us off a bit for mutual protection, to protect us all from George's weakness and my necessary greater strength to protect himself and us.
I want a child.
Honey.
I want a child.
On principle?
I want a child. I want a baby.
Yeah, everybody wants a baby until they have to actually go through childbirth. And of course, your body is ruined permanently. Sure, honey, you want a baby. Let's see how good you look in those dresses after you actually have the baby. Neither here nor there, your baby will never really live up to my baby, who's perfect. Of course, this perfection couldn't last, not with George around.
There, you see, I knew she'd shift.
Not with George around. A drowning man takes down those nearest. George tried, but oh God, how I fought him. Lesser states can't stand those above them. Weakness, imperfection, it cries out against strength and goodness and innocence, and George tried.
How did I try, Martha? How did I try?
How did you... What? No. He grew, our son grew, he is a grown-up, he's away at school, at college, and he's fine. Everything is fine.
Oh, come on, Martha.
No, that's all.
Just a minute. You can't cut off a story like that, sweetheart. You started to say something. Now you say it.
No.
Well, I will.
No.
You see, Martha here just stops when the going gets good, just when things start getting a little rough. Now, Martha here is a misunderstood little girl. She really is. Not only does she have a husband who is a bog, she has as well a tiny problem with spirituous liquors, like she can't get enough.
No more, George.
And on top of all that, poor weighed down little girl, plus a father who doesn't give a damn whether she lives or dies, who couldn't care less what happens to his only daughter. On top of all that, she has a son. She has a son who fought her every inch of the way, who didn't want to be turned into a weapon against his father, who didn't want to get used as a goddamn club whenever Martha didn't get things like she wanted them.
Lies! Lies!
Lies! All right. A son who would not disown his father, who came to him for advice, for information, for love that wasn't mixed with sickness, and you know what I mean, Martha, who could not tolerate the slashing, braying residue that called itself his mother. Mother, ha!
All right. A son who was so ashamed of his father, he asked me once if it possibly wasn't true, as he'd heard from some cruel boys. Maybe that he was not our child, who could not tolerate the shabby failure he had become.
Lies!
Lies! Who would not bring his girlfriends to the house.
In shame of his mother?
Of his father, who writes letters only to me.
Oh, so you think. To me, at my office.
Liar!
I have a stack of them.
You have no letters.
And you have?
He has no letters. A son who spends his summers away from his family on any pretext because he can't stand the shadow of a man flickering around the edges of his home.
Who spends his summers away, and he does. Who spends his summers away because there isn't room for him in a house full of empty bottles, lies, strange men, and a harridan who...
Liar!
Liar?
A son who I have raised as best I can against vicious odds, against the corruption of weakness and petty revenges.
A son who is, deep in his gut, sorry to have been born.
I have tried.
Laborami, Domine, de morta aeterna, inde tremenda, quando cadem mundi sunt et terra, dum verenes sunt terrae, sedilum peregnum, tremens factus sum ego, et teneo, dum discussio venere, atque venere ira, quando caeli movendi sunt et ta, des illi desira, calamentes, et misere, des magna ignitum balde, dem
person I tried to protect, to raise above the mire of his vile, crushing marriage, the one light in all the darkness, our son.
Stop it! Stop it! So I got a little mad because they wouldn't shut up. They'll be fine.